on top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too, let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too, let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charts off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers. Break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah. Now let's get started. Let's get it, get it. Yeah, I'm ready, ready. I'm ready. Are you ready, ready? I'm ready. Let's get it started. Yeah, yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Let's go. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Yeah, 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 yeah. Give me something new. Time to break loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to LSRTV's coverage of the NASRA Triple M Pulling Series live from Nashville, Tennessee. My name is Kevin England. Tonight, I'm joined by Marty Sakala, and we're looking forward to short track action with the truckers. And Marty, short track. Last week we were at Talladega Super Speedway. Now we come to the 6/10 of a mile bull ring. That is the Nashville Super Speedway. The skyline's out in the back, and I absolutely love this racetrack. We're going to have a blast here tonight.
Kevin, good evening. This is going to be an awesome one tonight. Yes, I definitely miss NASCAR racing here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. At least we've got it, though, at the Super Speedway. But we've got a good one on hand tonight. It's the third short track race of the season. And if we look back at the results on what happened at the last short track race, anything can go. You don't know what's going to happen. And this is a really tough short track for the truck drivers tonight.
Yeah, you know, I just love to come back to the history of NASCAR and run a racetrack like this. You just look at the walls and you see that red and white dash, and it brings you back to the nostalgia and the history. Even in the sim racing world, drivers come to this racetrack, know how complicated it is, and it's a big deal to get a win at this racetrack.
Oh, absolutely. I have a win here on iRacing, but on the miniature version with a wheel and modified car. You know, I wasn't around when NASCAR raced at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, but we know it's coming. We have a good feeling that it's coming back soon, you know, from what happened last year at that little town hall meeting with Darrell Waltrip and that one girl that made controversy with their dog and the loud noises. Darrell Waltrip and Dale Jr. have really been huge. Companions to bring NASCAR back to Nashville, and I think it's going to happen soon.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I think we'll probably see the trucks there first. You know, it's race number 11 of a 20-race season. That means we've crossed into the second half. Last week's winner, Keith Bradley, notched his second win on the series. Best finishes of the year for Dane Hagen and Zach Adams with their second and third finish. And you have to wonder if any other driver is looking to be a repeat winner here and join Bradley in that statistic.
Absolutely. And I think the man that could possibly have the best chance at doing that is Ted Wade in the number 2 machine. He took the win at Dover International Speedway a couple weeks ago. Ted Wade actually has 2 wins this season. Correction. Actually, no, he has 1 win per the point standings. However, though, he's very good at short tracks. Right now, second quickest in practice at the moment. Is we're moments away from going qualifying here. I think he's got the best chance right now, but we'll just have to see what happens. It's a long one. 165 laps tonight here at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
165 laps. You just saw the stat up on the board. Stage breaks, lap number 40, and stage break at lap number 80. Halfway, in this race, I think drivers are going to be looking at hitting as soon as they can, Marty. Once they're good on fuel and stay out, the track position's so hard to come by here at this racetrack.
Yeah, and this is a track that can definitely eat up tires. That's definitely the question, especially when the drivers go side by side. This is a tough place to pass at the Nashville Fairgrounds. I think we learned a lot of it when SRX was here last summer for their championship race. But something you got to keep in mind here too, Kevin. This is a bumpy racetrack. If you're on the low line in turn 2, you can definitely feel that bump with the force feedback of your steering wheel. So it'll be tough for drivers on the low side. Would not be surprised if we saw a lot of diamonding on the racetrack, entering on the high side, and then coming down on the bottom to specifically avoid those bumps.
Yeah, we'll be talking about those bumps. They are the trouble zone in this racetrack, especially over there in 1 and 2 down on the bottom. But every once in a while, find a driver just figures out how to float through them and make time down there. We'll see if no one's there and that's the opportunity to find the lane. Well, maybe that's going to be that way. We look at the race back to IRP, which is a completely different racetrack. Joey Doucette won that one back on the 11th of March. And at that racetrack, high and low were the grooves. And, I'm curious to see, Marty, whether or not we're going to see drivers looking for the high or low grooves here at this racetrack.
Well, it's not going to be Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, that's for sure, because that's a track with multiple grooves and was a completely flat track and with progressive banking compared to what we're going to have here for the Nashville Fairgrounds tonight. Low line, of course, will likely be the dominant groove. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw drivers using that high side to their advantage. But we'll see what happens here. Let's see what the drivers do in qualifying. What's the fastest lap around is the question as Adam Newbert's on track.
Yeah, we got set for Blanchard's towing qualifying here, and Adam Newbert, first one out on the track. The Millie's Restaurant number 4 rolls through 1 and 2. And he is choosing to drive down through those bumps. They're really, really bouncy through those bumps at just about a half truck length up off the bottom yellow line. And yeah, pretty good race lap for him at 18.436.
Yeah, as the drivers continue to set the bar here at the moment. Right now, current time is about 6/500ths at the moment. See what he does here off of turn number 4.
He puts a 4:07, which is going to be even a better lap there. And now we'll see the rest of the drivers come in. It's Eric Zimmerman in the number 94 taking time.
Zimmerman loses it, though, in turn number 2. So that first lap will not be valid. He still has one more lap, though, in qualifying is Tyler Dittmer comes to the track part-timer on the tour.
Yeah, Tyler's shown speed in this number 34 truck, and he also has a win to his credit this year. And he, too, running right down there on the bottom through the bumps and coming up. I think a lot of drivers kind of ignore those bumps. They want to run through it as he breaks loose in the corner, saves it, didn't catch the wall, but that's not going to be a good time, obviously.
Yeah, Kevin, expect that a lot tonight. Drivers pretty much wheel hopping, entering turn number 2, trying to get late on the brakes that, they don't really put in enough brakes, but way too much steering where they just completely oversteer and the rear end gets light. So Dittmer back on track. Let's see how he does.
Yeah, there's the ability inside the truck to dial in the brake bias that determines
Yes.
whether the brake is in the back or the front of the truck. A lot of the drivers play with the brake bias so that when they step on the brake, the truck will turn in better. But as you see, it makes it loose, and second verse, same as the first pilot, Tyler Dittmer gets into the wall, and he's not going to record any time as we have Logan Quinn out on the racetrack.
So Dittmer starting from the rear of the field, and like you said, Logan Quinn, full-time driver though, hasn't really been currently 20th in the points, and as he touches the outside safer barrier once again.
So we'll pick up Cody Knott coming out to pull his time.
Yeah, you know, just by what we're learning from these drivers so far at the moment in qualifying, is that this is going to be a race full of patience, and we're going to have to take it really easy on the car. I have a really good feeling, though, that this will be a race likely tonight, Kevin, where the drivers that are in the front of the field, they'll have that clean air. They don't have to be patient. They can just drive their cars and at the same time conserve their tires, and don't have to worry about having to check up and get on the brakes. It's not puts in an 8th place time, 19:066.
Yeah, the first lap looked rather conservative, but I think he was just looking to log a lap. Second lap looks like it's going to be a little bit faster. Here he comes off the bottom of turn number 4 to the front straightaway, comes across the stripe, and it'll be a 19:13. He improves this time, 0.6 of a second. That's going to slot him in still right there in about the 8th, 9th time spot, and we have 12 trucks so far who have taken time, and the provisional pole sits with Kyle Hess in the number 86 with an 18.39. That's the target that Matt Rudder in the number 33 is going to try and shoot for.
Yeah, Matt Rudder just spun there off of turn 4 while doing his first lap, so he's got one more lap, but remember, he didn't have the full power, the full horsepower like many other drivers did, so this will be a slow lap for Rudder and put him 13th quick back at the grid for right now when it comes to the drivers that have qualified.
Yeah, Rudder will pull down to the racing service, and we'll pick up Brady LaBeouf, who loses it off of turn number 4, noses into the wall. I'm kind of surprised at how much trouble these drivers are having as you see the 81 going around. You know, 75 degrees, the track temperature is 77. In the time in the sim, it is about 7:45 in the evening. It's going to be dark here just shortly, and as Keith Bradley, last week's winner, comes in, it really looks like these guys are struggling to get a hold of the racetrack.
Yeah, well, something to think of here too, Kevin. Oh man, Bradley almost lost in turn 2. Is that the drivers have about like maybe 40 minutes of practice before we go into qualifying. Actually, an hour of 10 minutes of practice as Bradley puts it 10th quick.
Yeah, Bradley rolls off the corner. They get down to about 80 miles an hour, and they'll get up to about 120, high 120s, 130 and change there. And Bradley's going to put in a lap of 18.745. That's going to put him in that 6th starting spot as he cranks it sideways there and locks it down. And they're going to run off qualifying. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with the start of this or the finish of qualifying as we tie things up here with the Triple M Truck Series running at Nashville Speedway.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
it's broadcast personality Wesley Outlet up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway. Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments, and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it? They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Welcome back to LSRTV's live coverage of the NASRA Truck Series at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedways. 1 minute left in qualifying. Right now the track is quiet. A lot of drivers opting to go out late, and I have to say, Marty, it's been a surprise. We've seen a lot of trucks heading the wrong direction here at this racetrack for qualifying. They're really trying to hustle the trucks here.
Yeah, and I think the majority of drivers are having a tough time on the entries, whether it be turn 1 or turn 3. Just wheel hopping it into the corners and that rear end just getting light. A lot of oversteering happening with the fixed setup here at the moment. It could play a huge factor too, especially when we get late in the race. Even if drivers are on fresh tires. But yeah, just who knows what's going to happen. I'm really looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be the craziest race we've seen all year.
Yeah, we were talking before we came on camera about the dynamics of this racetrack, and one of the things is track position is so hard to come by, but they have 5 sets of tires, and tire wear is a factor on this racetrack. It was last paved 1996. It's bumpy. The banking over there in turn 1, 18 degrees, but there's not a lot of grip over there, Marty. And, you know, if you have fresh tires, it helps the truck turn, it helps the truck cut. And it's going to be a struggle for these guys. If they stay out on worn tires, they can keep their track position, but they're going to want to go in and get fresh tires for sure.
Absolutely, and you know, we'll likely have 3 pit stops in this race. Obviously, drivers will come in at the end of each stage, and then we'll see likely a pit stop in the middle of stage number 3. But if we do get that late race caution, be ready for drivers to get that final set of tires.
Drivers are taking to the grid, and we'll let you know where the Blanchard Towing's qualifying lineup turned out. I'll hit the first 10 rows here. The 86 of Kyle Hess is your pole winner tonight. On his outside, it'll be Stephen Thomas in the number 23. It'll be 3rd starting spot for Adam Newbert in the number 4. To his outside, one of the hottest drivers on the circuit, the 2 of Ted Wade. He'll start 4th position. Inside row 3, 48 of Robert Richards. And to his outside, last week's winner, the 29 of Keith the Animal Bradley. Row 4 will be made up with Adam Cantwell in the number 63, and Logan Quinn in the 44 to his outside, 8th starting spot. Row 5 is the number 11 of Derek Kilgore, and it'll be 10th starting spot for the 26 of Cody Knott. Inside row 6, 43 of Dana Shefford, and Jacob Klinkhart in the 5 will start in the 12th starting spot tonight. 7th row, inside Eric Zimmerman in the 94, and 39 will be Dane Hagan. It'll be the inside row number 8, Matt Rudder, 33, 34, one better. Tyler Dittmer in the 34, he starts 16th. Inside row 9, Brady LaBeouf in the 9, and then 87 of Justin Lumpkin starts outside row 9. Inside row 10, Brandon Bullock in the 17, and it'll be 20th starting spot for Jose Luis Rivera.
In row number 11, you've got Joey Doucette in the 16. To his outside, Devin Painter in the 64. Row 12, Trey Pitts driving the 27. Curtis Hedden in the 95. The 13th row, Taylor Peacock in the 81. Ed Osborne in the 42. Row number 14, Brian Abbott in the 82, Raul Mezda in the 93, and rounding out the field tonight, TJ Moore and Huck Wigginton at the caboose of this 30-car field as we get set to go green at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Pace truck leads the field to the backstretch here under a couple laps of pacing and 165 laps of action. And I suspect and would hope, Marty, that these drivers will kind of feel themselves out a little bit, get the tire temperatures up, get some air in these trucks, and get settled in, and then figure out how to challenge this racetrack. It's a mix of racing the truck in front and behind you, as well as racing the racetrack.
Absolutely, and that's actually an important topic as we come to the green flag. Cold tires, that's for sure, so the cars could get really loose on the exits of these corners, more than we've seen it when we get into a long green flag run. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a lap 1, caution number 1, but we'll see what happens as we're set to go green.
Lights are out on the pace truck. It's going to make that really strange left-hand turn to get into the tricky pit road entrance here at this racetrack. And it will be up to Kyle Hess to kick it off. He looks over the starter. He sees the green flag and slams down the accelerator. They head to turn 1, and Hess pulls left.
And I think these are drivers just trying to play it safe at the moment. Don't want to risk losing control of their race cars. Better safe than sorry. Stephen Thomas leads the field, though, into turn 3. Gets tight, opens the door for Ted Wade. Side by side, Thomas takes lap 1.
I could almost feel Newbert flinch at the Hess truck turning left and going to the apron, but everybody missed him, and we remain green here as Stephen Thomas picks up the early lead through turns 3 and 4, up in that second lane, up above the bumps, rolls off the 4th turn to the front straightaway, and they make quick time around this racetrack.
Yeah, Thomas trying to avoid those bumps in the first set of corners compared to Ted Wade, who's got the quickest lap after lap number 2. Down to a half truck length, looks up to the inside, tried to pull up to the quarter panel. Doesn't work though, as Thomas still leads them.
Thomas with a half truck length over Ted Wade. Now Wade right to the back bumper as they roll out of turn. A little bit of a gap back to Adam Newbert, and then a truck length back to the 29 of Keith Bradley. Robert Richards right now rounding out the top 5 as the field is pretty much settled into single file here. And just as soon as I say that, battle for the lead, side by side off of turn 2.
Weight down to the bottom, but Stephen Thomas is using what is the 18 degrees of banking in the turns to propel him out to the front and keep the lead, playing some defense at the moment. And Wade almost got up to the quarter pound to start finish line. Outbreaks Thomas though, entering turn number 1, still dealing with that bump in turn 2 as you just saw, and Thomas still leads them.
Yeah, Wade gets good corner entry, drifts up alongside of Thomas. Thomas knows he's down there, running higher, I think, just to make sure that if something happens to the Wade truck underneath, there's room to catch it. And right here, off of turn number 2, there's almost a hole in a bump there, and it really unsettles the truck. It's so hard to make time down the bottom as the truck porpoises through that, but Wade looks pretty good down there in the low line.
And you mentioned it earlier, this track hasn't been repaved since the 90s. It's gotten extremely abrasive, kind of like a lot of yellows on the track. Curtis Hedden has gone around. That is in turn number 4. And this is one where he just lost it all by himself. You'll see here on the Puds Poppers replay.
Puds Popper replay, as you see down low, the number 95 comes up off the corner, gets a little bit pinched. And then he's going to come up. Maybe he was looking in the rearview mirror to see where that truck was, the 33, and the truck just broke loose. The good news for him, a lazy spin, able to grab a gear and drive away. And no harm, no foul, but that's going to put us under caution number 1 for the first time here.
Yeah, there's the wheel hop like we expected, and so our first yellow comes out just around lap number 8 of this race. So again, we're going to see that a lot tonight for those that have just joined us. A lot of that wheel hopping and oversteering entering these corners, so watch that closely.
So actually, I think that was a pretty decent start. The number of laps we got was actually more than I anticipated. But, you know, the good news is everybody can take a deep breath right now. They can assess what kind of run they got in the beginning. and just kind of settle in and get comfortable. I don't think we're going to see anybody on kill here, Marty, in the early going. They're just going to try and mind their P's and Q's, I bet.
Absolutely. That was one of my keys coming on into this race tonight was patience, because, you know, these trucks are very easy to lose control of, perhaps, compared to a street stock that you drive like every day on your iRacing circuits for those that have the simulator. But that's what the drivers really have to be careful in the entries of the corners, and just really be careful when they are on the brakes. One of the big things when it comes to driving a truck, and this is what they teach you in racing school, never brake while turning into a corner. You always want to brake in a straight line.
Yeah, we saw Kyle Hess pull left on the start, and it looks like he's either disconnected or didn't make it through. And as you look at that weather update coming through the U.S., this is where our broadcast team comes from, right smack dab in the middle of that mess. And, you know, some of these drivers, they are impacted by the major hubs when weather comes through, like the Virginia area or mid-California or right through the center where Omaha is. Many of the internet connections that these drivers use to traverse to the servers where the racing setups come from are right in the path of that weather that you just saw. So we saw Kyle Hess, he's down 7 laps. The 44, it looks like Marty was able to drive around and pick up a lap there as the lucky dog.
Yep, Logan Quinn back on the lead lap. You're mentioning you guys got heavy rain. Well, I'm from New York. We'd still have snow, and it's April.
Yeah, I'm a Jersey dude, and yeah, we had snow just this week. Snow squalls with snow on the ground in April. I'm ready for spring to break.
Me too.
Yep, it's one of those things where all of our local tracks are starting to race this weekend as field tightens up here to get ready for the restart. Thomas going to be your leader. Pace truck pulls in. He's got Wade to the outside this time. It'll be curious to see whether they maintain this as they come to the front stretch. Green flag is out. We're back racing at Nashville.
Not a good jump amongst the outside lane, but Ted Wade, this is where he wants to be, side by side. He's got the banking, and you've got a new leader for the first time today. Bradley, meanwhile, on the outside of Adam Newbert, takes away third position, and again, the outside line is the place where you want to be. Trouble behind them. It's Robert Richards who has gone around right in the middle of traffic, and I think only one car nipped him. But other than that, nobody else seemed to get him.
Yeah, this will be a theme as the Bolts Bopper replay comes up and shows us what happened here. Cautions breed cautions as you see Richards in the orange and white number 48 rolls into turn number 3. And through those bumps, the truck got unsettled, and unfortunately, while he was trying to catch it, he got a little tap, tap, tap. And boy, that is unnerving, sitting there facing traffic that way, Marty.
Absolutely, just trying to confirm the car that got him. That was Brian Abbott in the number 82 that just nipped him there. I don't think he's got any major damage at all, though. Here's the onboard, by the way, from Richards' perspective.
Yeah, just got loose, got a little bit of a tap from the 26, and then sitting facing traffic.
There it is.
Saw the sparks fly.
And, you know, those bumps in 3 and 4 probably, in my opinion, just made that setup angry in what Robert Richards has, and just the floorboard didn't like it and led to that rear end getting loose.
And there's really not much you could do if you're the 26 of Cody
Not at
Knott.
all.
You're hard on the throttle coming up off the corner, and all of a sudden a truck in front of you just basically stops. You have no recourse to stop and keep from hitting them. So, you know, the good news is not big contact. But let's talk about this, Marty. If and when, I think when is an operative word, we're going to see crashes here where trucks are going to get damaged. This is the type of racetrack where pretty confident as we see Doucette go by for the lucky dog that you can race with damage at this racetrack.
Absolutely. This is not an aero dependent track. Well, I mean, when you think of it though at the same time, you know, it does have longer straights and the cars are going really fast. I've seen a top speed of about 130 miles an hour entering a corner so far today, but it's not really aero dependent like obviously a Kansas or Talladega would be.
Yeah, and at this stage, the drivers, you know, halfway through this first stage, and we talked about the importance of tires, but you can imagine that at the stage break, lap number 40, everybody's going to go get their set of tires. So I think strategy here is the way it always works, I think, with these smaller tracks, Marty. You're going to run as hard as you can in this first segment to get all the track position, especially if you're starting out back.
Absolutely. Remember, the top 10 do get stage points when we hit lap number 40. If you're a driver that's running outside the top 10, you're definitely going to be wanting to try and make some moves. But if you're inside the top 10, just race your race at the moment. Like, for example, if you're a guy like Justin Lumpkin, who's currently in 9th position, it is right now absolutely not worth it trying to drive as hard as you can and catch up to Ted Wade and try and get him for the lead as we get set to go back to green with Wade, who has selected the outside for this restart. That's the place where you want to be from the looks of it.
So you have Wade and Thomas, 1, 2. Then you have Keith Bradley, Adam Newbert, and Jacob Klinkhardt in the number 5. Rounds out your top 5. Pace trucks behind the wall, and it'll be to the outside truck to give the go in the restart zone. And Wade, you can see the fire come out as he slams the gas down and heads to turn number 1. Big jump to the outside. Here comes Newbert to challenge for second.
And Newbert's going to get, again, 18 degrees of banking. It's really what you need here at Nashville. And plus, at the same time, you don't have the bumps compared to this low side. And at this moment, thought for a moment Stephen Thomas was going to be stuck in no man's land, but he found his way to get into third. Keith Bradley nearly got him, though, on the inside line. And at the moment, drivers are going to be holding their line on the low side. That's the place to be when we get the green flag run going. But when you're on a short run on a restart, you're going to want to be on that outside.
Yeah, talk about the dynamic of timing. These drivers are on top of each other. They're trying to struggle to keep the truck pointed in the right direction, and they're almost always nose to tail. Wow, I don't know what happened there for Bradley, but he just nosed hard into the wall over there at turn 3, and we're going to go into caution one more time.
You'll see here on our replay. Now, this is a completely different situation here. What happened was that he was pretty much trying to save the car, and when you've got cold tires at the same time, it's really risky. Right there, as we see that where the car just snapped, just like that is what happened.
And again, he faces the same situation we saw Richardson earlier, where he's just facing traffic. The good news is they could all kind of see him coming down the straightaway. We were just talking about when the caution dropped, you're on top of the truck in front of you. The truck behind you is right to your back bumper. When trouble occurs, you're usually on it right away. And one of the dynamics of this racetrack, Marty, is when you're in the corner, you really can't see around the corner to see the exit of the corner where trouble happens.
Absolutely, and I mean, there's a lot of factors that have to do with that. You know, you've got that inside retaining wall pretty much right next to the apron and the lower groove of this racetrack. There is not, obviously, and this is kind of a normal situation at short track racing, there is really no runoff area in general here. Joey Doucette, by the way, getting the free pass, so he'll get back on the lead lap in our third yellow of the race.
You know, strategy in this type of race where you're stuck out in the back and it's hard to get track position sometimes comes to playing a different race. And I have to wonder if we get close to the stage break and get a caution, whether some drivers will duck in, get their 4 tires, and then in stage break remain out on the racetrack. We're going to have to watch and see if alternative strategies are something that turns up here as this race progresses.
And that's a good point. You know, I'm a little surprised that we've not seen a lot of drivers that have been performing that undercut like you just mentioned, you know, because we've seen all these yellows. This could be a race, you know, cautions breeding cautions. Up in the booth, we're hoping not, obviously. And the same for the drivers. They want to be racing. But I'm surprised no drivers have really thought, you know, we're 3 cautions in and we're coming to 13 laps to go in stage 1. Why don't we try and go for the rest and see if we can pit and just hope for those yellows to keep developing. That way, when everyone else comes in for their 4 fresh tires, they cycle right through to the race lead.
Maybe they're going to wait a couple more laps and see if there's one more caution that presents that opportunity. I'd be somewhere in the mid-30s before I'd be looking to pull that strategy so I have fresh tires and don't put myself in jeopardy when we come back for that next restart. It's Wade to the outside. He's got Newbert to his inside this time. Klinkhardt, who was in 5th, has made his way to 3rd. Thomas, Dittmer, Knott, Rivera, Lumpkin, and Cantwell are your top 10. They're going to go back to green here on lap number 28. And green flag in the air. And again, the outside lane, good jump for Wade. He heads off to turn number 2.
And this is where Jacob Klinkhardt wants to be. Almost got up to the corner paddle, but just let off the gas. So Newbert could get there. Doesn't want to take any really big risky moves, but that could have put Klinkhardt in a good position or maybe even a bad position at the same time if we did get another yellow where he could have been forced to restart on the low line. We got a driver in the pits that's heading once again.
Yeah, Hedden ducks into his pit stall and he's going to do a stop and go, it looks like. We also have Robert Richards down there with damage to his truck sitting idle over there on pit road. Good move by Thomas to the inside, trying to pull up that position, and he's going to pull by Klinkhardt.
A pretty rare inside pass that we've seen, but you know, Thomas just had a great run, great set of corners in 1 and 2. Klinkhardt was just stuck on the high side. Not sure if he got tight entering the corner, but that helps out the Toyota to move up to 3rd caution. Oh man, multi-car wreck. And this is good. This is a big one here.
Yeah, Abbott back there. You see the 43 of Shepard's involved. 39 of Hagen is trying to come around. And the Pulse Popper replay will show us how this got started, but multi-truck mix-up over there.
Yeah, this is a situation here where contact was made. This, I think, is going to go all on Abbott. It happens in front of our angle as Abbott comes. Oh my, we missed that. Dane Hagen goes up into the fencing. Quinn's also involved. Hedden just gets by it. But this was a situation where if we get another angle here, you can see that Abbott came up on the driver next to him, which was Adam Cantwell, and was actually holding his line. So now something to mention too. I talked about this earlier, Kevin, if we were going to see some drivers go for the undercut, and we are seeing some takers. Matt Rutter, one of them. Keith Bradley, not sure though if they have any damage. Dana Shepard, another one of them. We'll see what happens. Here's another angle.
Yeah, it looks like the truck just pushed up. He got into the number 63, and in order not to take Cantwell out, he yanked it to the left, and unfortunately, that took the truck down, and he took a massive hit both into the inside wall and then when he got struck, and you can see the truck is spewing smoke over there on pit road. So I'm not sure if Abbott is done. He's going to have multiple minutes of damage, and there's no fast reset for these drivers. So unfortunately, we said they could drive with damage. Sometimes, you know, you see, Marty, drivers have engine damage, and it actually somewhat helps the truck because you can run faster through the corner but slow on the straightaways. But I'm pretty sure that 82 is wounded.
Yeah, absolutely. That will likely be done for the day. Talking about pit stops, by the way, Keith Bradley, he's got 4 tires, and now he's coming in, I think, just to top off on fuel. And Taylor Peacock also in the pits, trying to see if they can get 4 fresh tires, because when these drivers come in at the end of stage 1, they'll likely be fresher. They'll likely have tires fresher by about 5 laps or so.
Yeah, so as we get close to closing down the stage, that question is answered. A couple drivers are taking the opportunity, as you see Taylor Peacock coming out of his pit box. Keith Bradley also another one playing that strategy, and they'll have 4 fresh tires and fuel. It is so difficult to get on and off this pit road and also remain on the lead lap with getting damage fixed. These drivers really have to mind their P's and Q's about where the pace truck is.
Oh, if you have to repair damage, you're pretty much being guaranteed you're going a lap down. But under yellow, if you're just going for 4 tires and fuel, it's pretty good. You know, the pace laps have just been around 45 seconds or so for the leaders under yellow.
So the field regrouped again one more time behind Wade. Pace truck turns left, yields to our truckers as they come off of turn number 4. Remember, the first stage ends at lap number 40. Is green flag back in the air. Wade, good jump again. The truck got a little sideways, but he was able to grab a gear and drive off. Good run for Newbert on the bottom. Not sure if he's going to be able to make a challenge of it. Tries to squeeze up into that second position.
Yeah, that was the farthest we've seen a driver in second on the restart try and have a chance for the race lead. But look at that, Kleinhart all over the 4 of Newbert in the battle. As Newbert gets tight entering the corner, a little bit of understeer allows Kleinhart to pull up to the bottom of the racetrack. Pits are closed for the rest of this stage as we're coming to the final lap in it.
Across the line, it's going to be Wade, Newbert, Kleinhart, Thomas, and Dittmer. As we'll wait for the officials to throw the yellow. Lap number 40 is in the books. Wade is going to be your Sim Racer Hub stage winner. I guess we'll wait to see where the admins are on this. He's got to complete the lap, obviously.
Look at the top 10, and there's the yellow flag.
And so Ted Wade jumps out in front of this race, lap number 14. It leads to stage number 1, and he's going to pick up the points. Adam Newbert, Jacob Kleinhart, Stephen Thomas, Tyler Dittmer, Jose Luis Rivera, Cody Knott, Justin Lumpkin, and Devin Painter, along with Brady LaBeouf. They are your top 10, and I expect it's going to be feeding time at the zoo here, Marty.
Absolutely. Time for their virtual pit crews to go to work for 4 tires and fuel. And here they come as Ted Wade leads them down. I would expect Taylor Peacock and Logan Quinn, even Keith Bradley, I think I mentioned earlier, them assume the race lead to begin stage number 2. As Bradley's staying out, same with Peacock and Quinn. As of right now, they'll be your top 3.
Really small pit boxes here. You see all the drivers trying to find their pit box, get stopped. 4 tires and fuel are probably the order of the day. And it's been a good race so far. And I suspect, as we typically see as these races progress, that it'll get more and more challenging as these drivers go a little harder. Yeah, looks like good pit stops for a good number of these drivers. No difficulties.
Absolutely. So it was the top 2 that made their way in. So the front row will be the only ones on worn tires. Kleinhart beat Wade in the race off of pit road. Now, Kleinhart actually did a 2-tire stop from the looks of it compared to everyone else. Everyone else did 4 tires on pit road. So I'll be interested to see what Kleinhart gets to deal with. But the only issue for him is he is on the inside line when we come back to green, unless Bradley or Peacock decide to make their way down the pit road, but I don't think so. They've got Bradley and Peacock, as of right now, Kevin, they've got a pretty good strategy in the works, being up front, but the only thing, though, is, I mean, number 1, you've got the 7 laps of worn tires compared to the rest of the field. It doesn't seem like that will be too big of an issue for them, though. At the same time, you're just hoping that we don't see a late race yellow in stage 2 that could develop the undercut for other drivers that could perhaps be in the rear of the field. So we'll see what happens.
We said at the top of the show, Keith Bradley, 2 wins on the season, and in the points, he's, you know, fairly comfortable running in 11th right now. Stage points and all of that. Yeah, they matter, but they don't matter in this case. Thinking he's trying to put himself in position for a win. And at this point,
Absolutely.
given the track position and how important it is, while he started in 6th, he was running a little bit further back, and this reset now puts him in control of the event.
I mean, the only wins this season for Bradley have both come on super speedways at the iRacing Super Speedway in Talladega. However, though, in 3 of the last 4 races, he has led laps. He has been a front runner. Let's not forget that. So we'll just have to see what happens here as we begin stage dose.
22 drivers still on the lead lap. Matt Brudder running in 22nd. Ed Osborne in the 42 is 1 lap down. Joey Doucette has been picking up a couple of those lucky dogs. He's 2 laps down, and then you have troubles for Shepard, Abbott, Hagan, Richards as we go back to green.
Peacock.
It is Keith Bradley.
Yeah, Bradley holds serve. Sorry to interrupt you there, but Peacock was just caught sleeping on this restart. And Wade with the 7 laps of fresher tires pulls up inside, but has to wait. Trey Pitts around.
Yeah, so as soon as we get up to speed here, we're going to go back into caution as you see the 93 pulling away. Quick caution here for these guys as the Pulse Popper replay is going to show us if you pop the wall or not. And,
Yeah, in this situation with Trey Pitts, just watching on my ISO cam, he did get a little bit of help here. Watch Stephen Thomas in the 2 if we have it. So you see there with Mesa in the 93, he was just he just pretty much had the brakes all locked up, and that rear end just got light, and there was nothing that he could pretty much do about it. See another angle here. Watch the blue car underneath. Again, that's Stephen Thomas. Some slight contact there with just with the corner of that race car, and that's just what got him sideways. And it's really easy for a truck to get sideways like that with any form of contact, especially when it comes to how fast the trucks go around on high downforce.
Yeah, and I think another aspect of that is where the drivers pick the brake going in the corner. If you brake a little earlier than the truck behind you and they carry in the speed, they're going to tag you like that. And unfortunately, that caused Pitts a little bit of a headache there. And it doesn't look like it's too much damage. He was able to drive away, probably scraped the right side, got a little ding in the back. But if you're going to hit anything, at least the front of the truck is clean.
And I think in that scenario, too, what we saw was that the 23 Stephen Thomas was trying to outbrake in that situation Trey Pitts. He probably didn't expect Pitts to brake that early. If I was in that situation, I probably would have braked earlier if I was the 23, just to let Pitts go and just have the position, because you know, we've got a long race left to go. We are approaching 110 laps to go. We're at 115 to go as of right now. Drivers just have to be a lot more patient. This is a long race.
Yeah, and as you'll note by the scoring pylon, a little change up front. Keith Bradley went to pit road. Not sure why he gave that up, but
I think perhaps it was probably just to lead some laps. I'm new to this series here, Kevin, so you'll know better than me if they have bonus points for leading a lap or not.
Yeah, but I would imagine given he had pitted on lap 35 and we had run some caution laps, so he only had a handful of laps on the truck. So
yeah, keep in mind as well, Bradley made his 3rd pit stop, so he may only have 2 sets of tires left. I do not know though, because I'm assuming one of those stops he had to have done a fuel stop only.
yeah, every once in a while we get the opportunity to pull a driver up in, and maybe somewhere along the line we can catch up with him. But right now the lights are out on the pace car, and well, it is the 2 back in charge of this race. Wade has put himself back to the point, and he's going to bring us back to green. He does have the number 81 of Taylor Peacock, who pitted on lap 35, a couple of laps on his tires right there in his tire tracks as green is out. And Wade again gets a good jump. Peacock's going to slot into that 2nd position. He'll come up and cover Clinkart, who's going to be in third, is there side by side out behind him.
Tyler Dittmer trying to get a run on the inside for third position. I don't know if he'll get it. Nope. The banking again, propelling Clinkart out to that third position. Clinkart still, again, with a two-tire stop in third position. It's fallen back a lot. Obviously, we haven't seen a medium-sized long run just yet. As Wade starts to open the gap on Taylor Peacock. And again, for Peacock, I liked the strategy call to stay out after stage one after paying on lap 35. Wade, by the way, quickest lap of the race, 18:57.
Yeah, saw the 26 of Cody not go high over there in turn 3 and 4, still running high as a lot of trucks driving by. He's dropped back from somewhere near that top 10 or in the top 10, quite deep in the field right now as he crosses the line this time to 15th. Not sure if he just got offline or wanted to step out of some situation. It looks a little more spread out right now. This feels like a green flag sensibility to it, Mark.
Yeah, you know, Wade's picking up about a 10th or two every lap at the moment, and this is what he wants to see. Again, he's been very good at road courses this season. You're watching the 34 of Tyler Dittmer, who's having a great start to this race at the moment. He started in 16th position and has made his way up to 4th, trying to close in on Clinkart for 3rd. Was 0.02 of a second quicker last time by. Dittmer coming on in. We pull him up. Oh, again, this is his 6th start right now, entering tonight. A part-timer, but he's normally a driver who you sometimes have to watch out for closely. He's got 2 top 10 finishes this season. Oh, excuse me, 3.
Yeah, and the driver on the charge right now is Clinkart. He's maybe looking at the tailgate of Peacock, thinking he's got some worn tires, and if he slips, I'm going to stay with him. It is really how you execute a pass here, Martin. You stay right to the truck in front of you, and anytime the opening is there, you have to pounce and get yourself underneath them on entry to the corner, or you could do it the hard way, drive around. And I'm imagining Clinkart is watching out the windshield and seeing Wade drive away.
And, you know, he's not focusing on that rear view mirror at the moment. He's just focusing on what's ahead of him, just wants to make sure he doesn't get the rear end of Taylor Peacock. You know, those two respect each other. As you see, you got a nice exit off of turn number 2. And he's just trying to be patient for right now at the moment. Clinkart, by the way, last week had his best finish of the season at Talladega last week, finishing in 5th.
Yeah, this is the time of race where I tend to, as the trucks streak by, look to the left a little bit. Who's running somewhere near that top 10? And what kind of truck do they have? Is the truck settled in, or are they just riding them? Looking at Brady LaBeouf out here in the back. You see his white and blue truck pass by the 4 of Adam Newberg, Lumpkin in that mix. These guys look like they're just riding. And to your point a moment ago, we still have a lot of laps left, and these guys taking care of their trucks. Wouldn't be surprised to see LaBeouf, to see Lumpkin, to see Thomas, who's right there in front of that group, find their way to the front. They're just keeping pace right now with this lead group.
And you know, a lot of the yellows we have seen so far in this race today have happened in the middle of the pack. Lumpkin and LaBeouf, they have been in the middle of the pack. You look at Lumpkin, he started 18th position. LaBeouf started in 17th spot. Again, all those wrecks in the middle of the pack, it's helped them make their way up into the top 10 because, again, same key coming on in, patience.
One of the things about this racetrack is you have some drivers who just absolutely have it figured out, see the 2 of Wade, and you have other drivers who just trying to make laps around here and not get the truck crashed. That means that Wade in the 2 is eventually going to encounter a couple of those slower trucks, and as he comes down the front straightaway, you see this side-by-side battle. You know, there's little races all over the place, and these trucks soon enough will be into some of the slower trucks on the racetrack.
Yeah, you know, Keith Bradley just got by both of those drivers that are side-by-side for 11th. Bradley now up to 10th after last pitting, so he's currently in the stage points. And again, the longest green flag run we have seen so far in this race, as we're nearing 10 to go in the stage. Want to take you back forward, though, in a battle for 4th position as they encountered big lap traffic. They nearly took each other out. It is Thomas and Clinkart that are going at it for that position. as Thomas gets the pass stuck over Klinkart.
Trouble on the backstretch. The two of Wade got into Huck Wigington. They pancake got hooked together. The two, your leader turned sideways, nosed the truck in the wall. And when he finally bounced it off the wall, he was able to break free of the 00. And he's going to drop to second in that exchange as Taylor Peacock was able to just zoom around him and pick up the lead. We were just talking about speed differences. That's going to hurt Wade here in the stage.
And, you know, I honestly, in my opinion, don't even know what in the world Wigington was thinking. He literally came down on Ted Wade while he had a big 3-second lead. I think he was trying to let Wade go, and then at the same time, I don't know if the car got loose, but at the same time, I don't think it got loose. He had full car control and came down on Wade, and he got the wall. Thank goodness the two saved it, and we're under caution. Great pits again.
Yeah, tough night for the number 27 Mission One Esports truck. As the Pulse Popper replay will show us what happened for the number 27 this go round. Comes across the start-finish line into turn number 1 and 2. Through the bumps. And it was trouble in front of him. He was just trying to take evasive action, and unfortunately, truck stepped out and nosed it in the wall there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see who that was again. Was that Huck Wigington? And it was who, again, was a part of that. It's been a rough night for both of those guys, that's for sure, as Pitts keeps her on going. Ted Wade, by the way, after all the damage that he suffered, makes his way into pit road to see, you know, how much optional he has, and not sure if this is also going to be a 4-tire change. That probably most likely will. We'll look at the right sides here on the car. Yep, he's going for the 4 tires here. So in this situation, he'll probably have 1 extra set left if we're able to keep going here.
And he's going to sit there for a moment, which means they're probably packing it full of fuel and fixing a little bit of damage if he had any. As you see, Bradley once again on pit road, changing tires. And this is coming to the stage break, and we saw it before. Drivers can take this opportunity to duck in. And if the rest of the drivers, when they get to stage break, go to pit road, it could give necessary track position for that final run to the finish.
And taking a look at that undercut in that situation, Keith Bradley just pitted, Jose Luis Rivera also pitting. As we'll have probably like 3 laps to go in the stage or so. So that will probably, I believe, if I'm doing my math correctly, it'll give Bradley and Rivera and Wade 8 laps of fresher tires, and we'll be able to restart amongst the front 2 rows.
So out front, it is Taylor Peacock. He used that strategy a little bit earlier, and he's going to be leading here as we come back to green. And, you know, if you did pit right now, Marty, take your final quote-unquote set of tires, or at least get better position for the next stage,
and
you could just ride around in the back here until the caution comes.
Absolutely. They don't even have to race if they want to. They can just run their way to the green and white checkered flag. And, you know, when you think about it, too, guys like Ted Wade, not really fighting for points right now at the moment. Obviously, he's got that win and comes in only 1 point behind Keith Bradley at the moment. Actually, what I have on my standings at the moment. And then also Jose Luis Rivera. He's trying to go for a win. He's currently below on the playoff situation. And then, of course, Keith Bradley, points leader. So we'll just have to see what happens when we come back to the green flag.
Yeah, when you
just sorry to interrupt you, by the way. Huck Wigington, by the way, just received a black flag.
Yeah, they might have to put him back as a penalty. They'll have him do a stop and go or put him to the back of the field here as we're getting ready to go back to green. Lap 77 of 165. And Dittmer, Peacock chose the bottom lane here for the restart. We saw Wade was favoring the top. Here comes the 3rd and 4 of Dittmer, but a good restart for Peacock. He's going to hold the lead going down the backstretch.
He almost was able to clear Tyler Dittmer, though. Dittmer got a chance, pulled up to that quarter panel, but Dittmer comes down. If he had the power, he would have gone for the crossover. That's the best somebody's been on the low side today, and obviously, though, it's the leader, Taylor Peacock, looking for a stage win. Pits are closed for the rest of stage 2.
And these drivers back here in the top 10 are scrambling to hold or pick up a position here and there. If they're side by side, they might try to sneak up, grab another point as we're working lap number 79. Now cross into 80. LaBeouf is back there trying to get a position. As up front, it continues to be Tyler Dittmer. A lot of pressure to Taylor Peacock, and comes Peacock up off to complete the lap. And we will go under caution for the stage break, and it will be Taylor Peacock through that track position we talked about earlier, becoming the Sim Racer Hub stage winner here on lap number 80. The drivers are going to collect behind the pace truck. We can imagine we'll see some action down there on pit road and reset everything for the final stage. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with more of the Triple M Pulling Series Truck Series here from Nashville Fairgrounds right after this.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Broadcast personality Wesley Outland, and for the 2nd year in a row, the Community Radio Network is excited to also be the voice of iRacing on LSRTV every Monday and Thursday night with the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck. Join yours truly, Justin Prince and Samuel Dyer, every week as they race towards a championship. We're also on the radio in the Triangle in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area at 87.5 WCRN and anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. Click play, check out the coverage, the power of radio to the imagination of the listener, esports style. We are the Community Radio Network, the voice of iRacing on LSR TV. Check it out when you can, and replays are always up too.
Welcome back to Nashville Speedway. We're going to before the lights go out on the pace truck, dial in who is now our leader by pit strategy, Keith Bradley. Keith, this is Kevin England up from the booth. Can you hear me?
I got you.
Hey, how about the strategy you're playing? It looks like your truck's a little dinged, a little dented, but you're out front playing that strategy game for track position.
Yeah, I have to. I mean, track position's everything here, and with my truck snapping loose, I mean, I got to do something different, and the tires don't seem like they're wearing too bad, so hopefully it works out.
Yeah, lights are out on the pace truck, and we know we're going to get you back to business in a second, but just want to ask, how are the track conditions? It sure looks like you guys have your hands full.
Yeah, it's real snappy loose on entry, and like with my truck, I can barely touch the brakes, and it just feels like it wants to wreck, so hopefully we can hang on to it here.
Well, we're going to put you back in your office and let you get to work. Hang on. Cover that number 2 right there behind you. Good luck for the rest of the run.
Thank you.
Lap 86 on the books, and it is going to be the driver we just talked to, Keith Bradley. He's going to bring us back to green with Jose Luis Rivera, Ted Wade, Taylor Peacock, Tyler Dittmer your top 5. Good launch off of the start-finish line. Keith Bradley screams out of turn number 2 to the backstretch, and you heard it, Marty. He said the trucks are a little nervous on this racing surface.
Absolutely. Again, you're talking about an abrasive track, kind of like Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's what you saw a lot of when the trucks were at the old Atlanta. Trouble. Devin Painter.
Yeah, 64 having a little problems, but he's able to pull away, and we'll look at the Pulse Popper replay and see if we can figure out where the things went wrong for Devin Painter out on the high side over there.
And again, in this situation, this has been what's been the key with the majority of the drivers so far tonight. The wheel hop, not even any form of contact. The rear end gets light and may have just touched it, and I don't even think it got the paint or even any damage at all. Close call for Devin Painter, as he'll keep his 64 Ford F-150 going.
Yeah, so we heard it from our leader. He's a little nervous with the way the trucks are handling here. You know, we started this event with temperatures on the cool side. It's 73 degrees Fahrenheit here in Nashville with a 75-degree track temperature. It's dropped a couple degrees from the start, and you could see these drivers having a problem. I have to wonder if he was up out of the groove and it made the truck even more perilous up there.
Absolutely, and and again, drivers have been really having a tough time with the brakes tonight. Not a lot of lockouts, very little understeer coming from the cars. It's really been a lot of oversteer with what the setup's been like. I even took an opportunity to go out to the racetrack before practice and see what the drivers are feeling, and I could definitely feel that rear end chitter-chattering. And it was the same thing on both sides of the track. Even on the low side, that rear end would get light and go around.
Yeah, a lot of drivers talked about what you said earlier, is it's very difficult to drag the brake, and you want to carry as much speed as you can into the corner, but one of the better things to do is stop it on the end of the straightaway and just coast the truck through as you apply gas coming up out of 2, especially where that bump set is. It'll make the truck nervous, and it actually buzzes the tires when you come up off the corner here. So you got to have that proverbial egg underneath the gas pedal, and we can see how hard these drivers are working, Marty, to try and get traction on this racetrack.
Yeah, and sometimes this could be a situation where the drivers may want to brake early, perhaps earlier, and then just let the car glide, let it do the magic. When you're entering the corners, then you can get back on the throttle in the center and the excess. Obviously not full throttle, but just get it to work. Just put pressure on it and just go in increment every split second.
Lights out on the pace truck, and we can talk about a couple drivers that we said in the first couple stages their job was to get track position. Keith Bradley up 5 starting spots. Jose Luis Rivera 18 spots gained. Ted Wade, he started out front. Tyler Dittmer up 12. The biggest gainer in this race, 20 positions, the 81 of Taylor Peacock running in 5th. Started 25th. Brady LeBoeuf running 7th. Still haven't heard any noise from him as the green flag comes out, but he's up 10 positions. And now is the time to figure out your strategy to run yourself to the finish. You got to work it backwards.
Absolutely. Poor restart from Jose Rivera on that restart. Just allow the top 2 to pull away. Now perhaps that Rivera could be holding the rest of the pack back. And another yellow, this time Mesa again.
Yeah, cautions breed cautions, and unfortunately 93 is around over there, and it just goes to show that how hard it is to get around this racetrack, as the instant replay will show.
Yeah,
different brake lines, different bumps.
In this situation, I thought he was getting a little bit too aggressive. He was thinking, hey, you know what? I'm going to try and thread the needle. I'm going to take it 3 wide. I don't think that's what he was thinking, but that was probably the plan he was going for. When you look at it, when you break it down, and he just wasn't even thinking about how he was going to control the truck. And again, you've heard me say it like probably 20 times tonight. Rear end got light, wheel hopped, around she went.
And unfortunately for him, Richards had to go up, got a little piece of the fence. So did the 64 Painter, but everybody's able to drive away. And You know, this is where these drivers, I'm betting, would love to see a little green flag action and get into a rhythm. These fits and starts, Marty, are so distracting when you're trying to find track position and figure out how to get around this speedway.
Yeah, longest run we've had tonight so far was the run before the final yellow in stage number 2. Saw some impressive racing, a lot of drivers going side by side. I've officially lost track of how many yellows we've had tonight, but I guess it's probably more than the amount of lead change. Hey, look at that. Look
7.
at that. Our team's
I have
going
7.
to work. Shout out to them. 10 yellows.
Oh, yeah, we got to forget
46 laps and 6 lead changes. So, hey, guess what? I was right.
I always forget to count the stage breaks. So, yeah.
So technically, we've had 7 yellows for accidents.
Yeah, lead changes 6. Let me see. I have 6.
Yep.
Thomas, Wade, Bradley, Wade, Peacock, and Bradley back out to the front. So it's a job. Sometimes, Marty, tracking your notes and watching these races and calling. I try to keep track of everything. Sometimes I do a really good job, and sometimes I don't. But if ever I'm wrong, Charles is going to prove us. And you know, so far so good here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, whenever I do broadcasts in my own time, I actually have on the tracker, it tells me how many cautions we've got on the leaderboard every time we're under caution. So, but here you sometimes have to try and take notes. I normally forget to do that.
We have 19 trucks on the lead lap right now. Devin Painter, Eric Zimmerman, Ed Osborne, 1 lap down, 2 laps down for Joey Doucette in the 16. We've had a number of trucks go to the house. Huck Wigington, Dane Hagen, Dana Shepard, Robert Richards. I see Richards is still running around here, even though he's 65 laps down. Just trying to pick up some positions, I'd imagine, by the end of this as the pace truck turns left. And now this will be interesting. With Bradley to the outside and Wade, who's been fast all night long, this is going to be a drag race to turn 1.
This could help out Wade for sure. He's been perhaps the best of any driver on the bottom. In fact, in my opinion, better than Peacock or Bradley, but they're door-to-door off of 2. Bradley got the 18 degrees of banking to his advantage, but now the low side will start to set in even with the bumps perhaps. I think Wade could get him at the start-finish line. No, it's Bradley by a bunker. Oh, he got under him! Bradley
contact
sideways.
Bradley around, and that's going to bring out a caution. As I just think he was pinching him down a little bit, just trying to cover and carry the speed, and unfortunately that incidental contact, as you'll see in the Pulse Popper replay. Yeah, our leader going sideways from contact after maybe, well, let's see where we get here.
And this
I just wonder if the 2 got into the bumps, but I really think it's just a matter if they both came together.
Oh, that's really a tough situation on what happened. Like, obviously, not an intentional situation. These were just 2 drivers that were just really going at it hard. You'd have to perhaps watch an onboard camera on what went down, but that, I guess, would just say hard racing and perhaps a better arc from Wade compared to Bradley. I don't know, but I'm glad I am not the referee or in race control in this situation.
Yeah, and all that work done by Bradley to get himself out front is going to go for naught. But I suspect that's not the last time we're going to see the yellow wave. And as time goes on, he'll have the opportunity to see if he can make up that track position, and he and Wade will have some conversation afterwards. As Bradley on pit road right now, right side tires are finished, left side tires going on, and they're down, and they're going to fix a little damage out in the back of that truck. You see him working over there on that right rear quarter panel as the field comes off of turn number 4. He needs to scoot away there and beat the pace truck out, and he's going to do that with no problem as Wade circles around, looks over to the left, and sees Bradley come out of pit road. And you always wonder, do you feel guilty about these things? That's the leader. I mean, you're still the leader, Marty. This is where the spotters in NASCAR go, you're all good, man. It wasn't you. They tell you that so you don't get in your head.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry to change the topic on here for you, by the way. But Ted, by the way, did queue up on the mics, and did apologize in that situation. I don't think Bradley's normally talking on the radios during these races, but Wade immediately queued up and said, sorry about it. I did also take a look at another angle of that, and there was a little bit of net code in that situation. All I was saying that.
Yeah, certainly. I just chalk it up to hard racing, and you're going to apologize. You're not going to be flippant about it, but that doesn't help Bradley in his quest to try and get a win here, win number 3. But yeah, let's wipe the slate clean, and we're going to get going. Now you have the 34 Dittmer right there, as we're still under caution. And they had to let the field catch up. There were quite a few drivers over there on pit road. Now they'll get them set, and I believe we're going to get one to go here, as the lights should go out on the truck. Yep. And they do. So resetting your field, it's going to be Wade out front, Dittmer, Thomas, Rivera, Clinkart, Peacock, LaBeouf, Lumpkin, Cody Knott, and Adam Newbert. And right there outside the top 10, we have not talked about him too much tonight. Logan Quinn and Brandon Bullock. Quinn was laps down earlier, and now he's knocking on the top 10 in that number 44.
Absolutely. Quinn, we thought he was doing the undercut earlier, but I think he just decided to come in and repair some additional damage and probably take field only. But here we go, back to green.
New players up front here. Wade is going to get the jump. He's got a good run to the outside. The question about this one, Dittmer's going to stop in there in second.
They stacked up from behind. Rivera had a poor accident, and Clinkart tried to close it. Oh, Peacock is loose, and he's around.
And he's backwards up there in that high line. Hopefully everybody's going to get by him clean, and they are. And you'll see him come around looking for that tire.
I want to hit that attenuator. Here is our replay brought to you by Fudge Poppers. And you were watching it live as it happened. There's the stack up, by the way, that came from Rivera. And in the next corner, I think Peacock was just starting to lose it. And Clinkart, there was nothing he could do about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just got in the corner hard. You saw the 5 up against the outside wall down the backstretch, and when they turned in, I wondered if maybe the turn-in line had anything to do with that, but it just flat out looks like the 81 unfortunately broke loose going into the corner, and we've seen that over and over again. Looks like the trouble spot has been on this racetrack. Entry to turn 3, especially turning the truck down hard under braking.
Yeah, it didn't have to do as well either with the dirty air situation. That was just a situation where I think Peacock, and I think you just talked about this, just drove it in just a little bit too hard in the battle for that position on the track, as Peacock has to come in. Something I'm thinking about, because we have seen now, I think this is our 3rd yellow now after, our 3rd or 2nd or 3rd yellow in this stage at the moment. But, again, it's not really using up the tires for these drivers. And again, the tires have, because we're getting these short runs, the tires have just stayed cold. They're not getting warmed up. The pressures aren't getting up to temp. And in that situation, there is no situation where they're losing rubber on the track. So, we've got under 60 laps to go. You would be possibly thinking we would have that late race stop. But if we keep getting all these yellow flags out on track, I don't think we would have a late race stop at all.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think some of these drivers are thinking they might have gone to the pit road for the last time. If you're out in the back, you might stop in. But, when you look at where they are, lap 73 is the last time Ted Wade pitted, but the couple drivers behind them pitted on lap 82. They have almost 10 laps fresher tires, but I've run a couple late model races at this racetrack, and you're right, with the cautions and with the tires, the way they wear here, things tend to equalize. And I would choose track position over fresh tires as much as we like fresh tires. I think Wade is in a good place. He's fast, of course, in that number 2. it's really incumbent upon everybody else to drive up and take this away from him. But so far, he seems to be the fastest driver on the track.
Absolutely, and he does have the fastest lap of the race, 18:55. Tyler Dittmer with an 18:71. Stephen Thomas, 18:65. I would not be surprised if Thomas was a contender here for the race win at the end, but this right now seems to be Ted Wade's race to lose at the moment.
Yeah, and I just want to keep the story on, say, Bradley back there and see whether or not he can find his way through his little checkup there on the start, but 2 of Wade is going to drive away, way up on the high line. Good lunge for the 34 of Dittmer as he's side by side into turn 3, and he's still at the number, but Wade, well, slipped up there. Who's going to get it coming down the front stretch?
It's going to be close. We're under caution again, though, and this is a huge one.
Ooh, yeah, that's a field stomper out back there at the start-finish line as you see trucks piled into that outside wall, and the Pulse Popper replay is going to shine a lot of flashbulbs for this one.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting and likely take a lot of people. As you see somebody, that was the 4 that got sideways first of Adam Newbern. As calamity breaks out in turn 4 again, there's even a truck stopped in Curtis Hedden, or excuse me, stuck up on the barrier there.
Yeah, in this instance, it'd almost be easier to say who was not involved in this incident. We know Wade, obviously, your leader, isn't, but I think we're going to see a lot of trucks go 1 lap down on this one as the leader comes up to catch the pace truck. And you know, we said it on the outside. One of the trouble zones in this racetrack is that when something happens, you're all right underneath.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just unfortunate, but you're all going to pile in coming in on that.
I counted whether they were involved in the wreck or if they just stopped trying to miss the accident. I counted just about 15 trucks involved in the wreck.
Yeah, so we'll just take a little pause here and watch the trucks run around here and get caught up and kind of take this in and see where everything lands. There was a pretty big incident here, and we'll catch you up. We've had a number of cautions, which is to be expected at this type of racetrack. We have 13 incidents for caution, spreading out, you know, from early into going, each of the stages, it's been pretty much separated. Since we've gone back to green for the final stage, we've had 3 cautions. Trouble over there in turns 1 and 2 when the leaders got together. Then you had the incident where the 81 single truck spin in turn 3, and now the big one up here on the front stretch. And we had talked about all the drivers having the probability that they were going to find some damage here tonight. Well, that one got a bunch of them. You could race with damage here and still be competitive, but that had to shake to the core a lot of these drivers, as you see all those trucks on the inside lane just exiting pit road, and hopefully they'll be able to drive past the pace truck and get back at least to the tail end of the field as Painter zips up underneath. I think he actually got caught there behind the pace truck as you see him slot in.
And he is currently a lap down in 19th, so that is correct there. We are nearing our season record for yellows this season, which was 18 that took place at another short track, that being at Lucas Oil Raceway.
Yeah, when you put this many trucks on a small racetrack and they're all in close quarters, you're going to have that as the 64 gets the pass around. He's going to go back and join the back of the field here. And, well, lights are out on the pace car. We're going to set him loose one more time here, Marty. And I want to say that Dittmer got a spectacular start last time. If it wasn't for the caution, we might have had a different leader.
I think we would have had a good battle for the race lead. Wade probably would have still come out ahead. We do get a long run. Who knows what will happen. Dittmer, by the way, from 16th to 2nd in this race right now.
You can hear the RPMs come up as the trucks come up to speed as they head off into turn 1 this time. The 2 got a better launch.
Behind them as well.
And just as soon as we get things going, the 26 is around. Tim Speed Shop number 26 of Cody Knott will be the focus of our Pulse Poppers replay.
And coming back to green, oh boy. You will see what the oh boy means here as we come back to green. Here for the replay. There was some help. 29 of Keith Bradley just put the chrome horn on him big time. And that's not a Bristol bump and run. That was something else there. I think in that situation, Bradley just did not expect not to get on the brakes that quickly like that, or to slow down that much speed. So I don't know. That's a tough break for both of them right there.
Yeah, it's really just hard to gauge sometimes what is going on there. The two drivers know what's going on. It might have been Bradley turning down in, trying to see if he could find that center lane and just nicked him, or he just misgauged how fast they were going into the corner. They know, and they'll talk about it afterwards, but that doesn't help for the 26 of Cody Knott, as he's going to have to reset, and looks like he got trapped behind the pace truck. Sometimes when you sit on the racetrack and the pace truck goes by you, then you're in essence one lap down but out in front of the leader, and as the yellow comes to a close, he'll be able to drive by the pace truck. Unfortunately, not able to pit, or he would lose the lap, so he's just going to ride here and wait for us to get to one to go.
And I'm just going to add as well, Cody Knott did queue up on the radio and said, alrighty then, in his words, pretty much. That's all that was pretty much said in that situation, with the rest of his opponents coming on in.
Yeah, this actually helps a lot of those drivers who got involved in that melee earlier. They can go in and get a little more damage fixed and get their trucks hammered out some. So they're not pleased to see all these cautions, but when you're damaged, you do like them. Right now, you saw the two riding behind the pace truck, and Bradley, even though he was involved in that incident, has made his way back into the top 10 here, Marty.
Yeah, and biggest mover of the race is, even after his spin, Taylor Peacock has rebounded up into 8th position after starting in the 25th spot. Only 16 drivers on the lead lap at the moment, as we're approaching 40 to go.
Yeah, and as I look through this field, there's one truck that looks like it just rolled off the trailer, the 94 of Eric Zimmerman, running back there in the 11th place. He's just been kind of riding, keeping out of the trouble. The truck looks pretty good. Maybe it's got a ding or a scratch here and there, but yeah, good run for Eric Zimmerman right now, running near that top 10 as we get ready to go back to green. For Wade, he's got to change these starts every once in a while, keep people guessing, I'm thinking.
It's either he's got to change the way people are. Oh man, that got close. Dittmer made some contact with Wade in turn number 2, so that allows Dittmer to close in. It seems like the only way you're gonna affect Ted Wade is just by making a little contact with him. But Wade's just that too good here at the short tracks, man.
Well, he drove it in deep over there in turn number 1. He was able to clear the nose of the 34. Now he's got a truck length going down the back straightaway.
Oh, trouble. Yellow is out, and that's Peacock.
Oh, big hit for Peacock, and again, another shot to the bow as the 81 got plunked a couple times. Logan Quinn got him over there. Pulse Popper replay is going to show trouble one more time for the number 81.
And this is actually something that we haven't seen a lot of compared to the entries, is that he lost it on the exit. Now, I'm not sure if he touched the apron or not, but there was a little contact in the aftermath twice.
Yeah, I think it's one of those incidents where when you get hard on the throttle, remember what I had said earlier, is one of the things I know about this racetrack, if you're on the gas coming through those bumps, the truck starts to porpoise and it can break free from you. And unfortunately, went around, tagged the inside wall, and then came back into the racetrack.
And a couple of things to clarify here. Two things. Number one, Peacock did touch the apron, which was the reason why he went around. But number two, there has been a change. All restarts, the rest of this race are now single file. And I think that's a great decision there to see if we can get some more long runs here. This has been a rough night for sure.
Well, that's part of what this racetrack's about. It's a tough racetrack. It's hard to run. I don't begrudge these guys on the incidents. They're racing hard. They're racing for position. That's what we want to see. Been an interesting race so far. All the restarts have been challenging, and let's see what happens here. It's a little complex. I don't think it's going to change too much. But maybe we'll get that spread out run that we saw earlier, Marty.
Yeah, again, that run he's talking about that came before the final yellow in stage 2. So we'll see what happens with single file restarts, and this is really going to help out Ted Wade because Tyler Dittmer will not be side by side with him, on this restart.
If you're just joining us, 165 laps of action here at Nashville Fairgrounds. We've had 7 different leaders here tonight. We're working about caution 15 or 16. There has been quite a few cautions. My name's Kevin England. In the booth, Charles Wooten is making the magic happen, and I have Marty Sakala with us as we are getting ready for, I think, what is going to be an exciting finish, Marty. These drivers now looking for track position, and they're going to claw their way up to the front to see if they can get themselves a win here tonight at Nashville.
Absolutely, and Ted Wayne has been the main man here today. He's led the most laps in this race. And also, we got to remember, Wade has also been in a rebound situation. You know, it's not just like, you know, that he's been the dominant guy so far tonight. He is the only one not involved in a wreck, but he's actually was involved in a close call earlier when we had our long run in the race. Huck Wigginton, a lap car, was letting Wade by and then actually got into Wade. Wade almost went around, but made a great save as we're ready to go back to green.
Yeah, 238 laps led for Wade this season, but it's been a while since we've seen him out front, but he's piling up that stat tonight as he is the driver with the most laps led after 10 races, and now we're back to green. He's going to streak away easily here. Not a lot of pressure out back with a 2-truck length lead as they're pretty much single file. You go back here to the Haney truck. It looks like he's going to go
to the pit road. He got a black flag.
Oh, there you go.
So battle for third, though, starting to shape up potentially between Stephen Thomas and Brady LaBeouf. That's the closest battle on track.
Yeah, Bradley and Kevin Painter into pit road along with Justin Lumpkin. I would call him Haney. I'm not sure where that came from. Is out front, Wade now sees clear racetrack and a clear rear view mirror, although he's hustling the truck. You saw him step out there, and he's just trying to keep pace as he's got the 34 of Dittmer. He looks like he's going to keep him honest.
Yeah, Wade's increased the lead, by the way. A couple of drivers now hitting their personal best in lap time because in that situation, they haven't been really been able to use their, I guess you could call them still fresh tires, despite many of them not having to get pit since lap 80 because of all of the yellow flags we have had in this race.
Yeah, 30 to go in this event, and now you're going to start to see some of those drivers who have speed that have been holding a little bit something start to step on that right pedal and get that fuel down a little bit more. You see the flames belch out of these trucks when they lift off the gas, but a lot of drivers will run 3/4 throttle, drag the brake through that corner in order to maintain the speed, get the truck to turn down and drive off. And I wouldn't be surprised if Thomas has a little something to say before this thing is over. And we can't forget, Marty, that lap 73 is when Ted Wade went to pit road. Tyler Dittmer, he has almost 10 lap fresher tires.
Absolutely, you definitely do have to keep that in mind if this race does go green to the end. Could Wade potentially be in trouble? Could he be possibly be using up his tires? Right now, the gap is currently at a half-second lead. Dittmer, though, running even laps with Wade at the moment. Was about 100th of a second faster compared to Wade last time by.
Wade's going to streak around the Peacock truck, no problem there. Peacock yields the line, goes down low. Wade able to pick and choose the line that he wants to race, as Thomas has dropped off a little bit. And, you know, you have to look back to that 4th and 5th position. Clenkard continues to hold the top 5 running truck in that number 5, but Brady LaBeouf, first time we've seen him in the top 5 tonight.
Absolutely, been a great race for him. Again, I mentioned this earlier. All the wrecks have been pretty much been happening in the middle of the pack. LaBeouf's been really patient, been able to make his way up into the top 5. Started from 17th and currently 4th on track. A couple of positions off, I think 2 off from getting the hard charger of the race.
And a good quiet run back there for Brandon Bullock right now, running in that 7th position. I don't believe Brandon has a top 5 tonight, but he might have something for these guys to get his first top 5 of the season in the butt kicker number 17 Chevrolet.
Yep, Bullock is yet to be inside the top 5 to your point, as he is in his 10th start this season. Highest position that he has finished is 7th. That took place at iRacing Super Speedway. It's not had actually a top 10 finish since then.
Yeah, he has 2 top 10s on the season, and tonight he's looking for another one, and hopefully he can find a couple more spots and get himself up there in a top 5 shot. As well, this signal file restart seems to have settled things down. The drivers got the message and is just kind of pacing themselves. A little bit of conveyor belt racing right now, and I like what we see is nobody's really driving away from anybody. I have a feeling that some of these drivers might be just looking at how they can get a little bit more skosh speed out of their truck, Marty, to get up there and compete for the win.
Absolutely. The gap has closed down to 0.4 of a second between Wade and Dittmer. Dittmer still running at even pace with Wade, and that's definitely helping him out with the 9 laps of fresher tires that Dittmer has. Now, something to think of too here, even though we have 20 laps to go, we currently have 12 drivers on the lead lap at the moment. I have a feeling if we do get one caution, everybody's going to go into pit road for fresh tires, because when you look at it, every driver in the top 5 has 2 sets left to use.
Yeah, I don't know about that. If they do go in, I think they'll probably only take right side tires or
and there, hey,
know, there's the yellow. You're going to find out.
Absolutely. You can call me like the Tony Romo of iRacing, I don't know, but it's Cody Knott, as I believe the engine failed as we take a look at the Pulse Poppers replay. Off the pace and getting on the apron, and there is no choice but to throw a yellow, but more importantly here, it's money stop time for the drivers, Kevin.
Yeah, let's see. I'm curious as to whether they will head to pit road when pit road opens and take tires, or whether they're just going to think track position is too valuable here. They roll across the start-finish line.
And taking a look here, I believe pit road is closed still. I did not see the green light come on, so I think they'll have to wait another lap as you're on board with the leader.
Well, we're going to find out in about 30 seconds here. So
if I'm in this,
if
I'm outside the top 5, I want tires.
The question is, if you're not in that top group, will you go and then take everybody else with you? We saw Raul Meza.
Bullock, Derek Kilgore coming on in, along with Ed Osborne and Keith Bradley. Sorry to interrupt you. What were you asking?
No, it's just agreeing with you there. If like 6th, 7th went in, everybody else behind him could take the same advantage and go in and get fresh tires. And I believe Brandon Bullock gave up that 7th position to go in. Question is, how many people followed him, and will he lose the track position? As you look at the number 11 sitting there of Derek Kilgore, I believe he's getting a little damage fixed on that truck as it sits there.
Yeah, I would perhaps watch Brandon Bullock a little bit closely. Again, he comes out in 9th position, still on the lead lap, so he'll restart on the inside of row 5. Should mention as well, restarts are back to double file now that we had that green flag run.
Yeah, so we'll just wait for timing and scoring to catch up and make sure that it doesn't make a liar out of us for some of the things we're going to say. But I have to point out that Jose Luis Rivera, running, well, 6 on the pylon right now, he pitted lap 114. So of all these drivers, even from the ones that just pitted, he's got superior tires and track position, which is a good combination to have at this juncture.
Yeah, I think in this situation, I think this still favors Ted Wade, though. You know, he gets to cool his tires down, but Dittmer still has the fresher rubber, and you know, the closest Dittmer has been, it was on that restart where he actually made contact with Ted Wade, so we'll see what happens. Bullock does restart, though, in row number 5 on the inside. Watch him closely. He's got 75 laps of fresher tires.
Well, we're going to have a dozen to go here as the field rolls around turns 3 and 4. You can see the flames coming out as they rev the trucks up, getting ready for the green. Starter looks him over, likes what he sees.
Oh, bad stuff with Wade.
Yeah, Wade slipped the tire. He still got away from these guys, though. He's going to drive away with a truck length lead out of turn number 2.
Side by side for 4th, it's Thomas and Rivera as Thomas gets the clear on the 97. Rivera, though, goes for the crossover off of turn 4. Thomas scrapes the wall and should help out Rivera get up to P4. Bullock, though, still stuck in 9th. He wants 8th, and he's got that, though.
4 drivers, so went in and inducted in for tires. The 17 of Bullock, Osborne, Bradley, and Kilgore. 1 position already for Brandon Bullock. He pulls up into that 8th position, and he's going to drive deep into turn number 1. Holy cow, the truck got completely sideways on entry as he was trying to get underneath Newbert. Now he's going to go after him again in turn number 3. Up front, everybody's kind of on a single file, but he was able to power off from the bottom, and that truck looks hooked up right now.
Bullock last time by, though, was 3/10 slower than Ted Wade. Obviously, he's stuck in the dirty here compared to the driver of the number 2. Now going after Rivera for 6th on the track. We'll have to see if that works out. Gets the run to the inside and hits the easy button, now up to 6th.
Yeah, that truck is just cutting perfectly for him. He was slow on that one lap because he got sideways and had to check up to keep from cleaning out the truck in front of him, but now he's up to full pace.
Yeah,
and you could visibly see him closing on the top 5.
Yeah, he's going to need another yellow, though, if he wants a chance at it, because we've got 7 laps to go. At this rate, because he's currently 2.5 seconds behind, there won't be enough time for Bullock if we go green to the end.
Yeah, Bradley following him too. Bradley on fresh tires, but it's 73. That is the lap that our leader has pitted on, and for what it's worth, he just continues to be fast out front. It's Ted Wade with your lead. He's got about a 4 truck length lead over Tyler Dittmer, about the same distance back to Stephen Thomas in 3rd. Then a big break back to Brady LaBeouf, who just does not seem to have the speed we're used to seeing in that number 9 truck. He's hanging on in 4th. And Brandon Bullock slips up and slams the wall over there in turn number 2.
Not what you want to be doing with those fresh tires. Not at all. You just used up a lot of rubber, especially on that right front, which is what you want here at the short tracks. Falls back to 6th spot, and about a lap ago was running an even time with Ted Wade, but his night's likely done for a chance at a win. Ted Wade, and hang on, he just spun.
Oh. Boy, what an unfortunate break for Bullock. The butt kicker truck sitting sideways over there as the pulse popper replays, maybe just trying a little too hard to hustle that with fresh tires, and His top 10 is going to be in jeopardy here. We'll see what happens as he goes into turn number 1. I think the truck just broke loose.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really weird when you're completely on the straightaway and just lose control. I'm going to, on my sim, I think there was just a little bit of too much right foot on the exit and just felt the front end lose it.
Yeah, that's one of those lazy things where you come off the corner and it just is going and you're waiting for it to hook, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't.
Yep.
Well, you know, I don't think that we could sit back in our chairs. I have a feeling we're going to be leaning forward because Keith Bradley was on the same strategy as Bullock. He's got those tires that are
It's true.
super fresh compared to everybody else, and he was putting down some lap times in that run here. Now we're going to go to green, white, checker, but if we have a couple of those, it's possible that he could try and pop a couple trucks here and there, and he may actually be a threat from 5th after all the shenanigans that have gone on in this race to get himself up there and get a win. And for Ted Wade, he did not want to see this caution. He was setting sail and he was going to go. Now he's going to have Tyler Dittmer right behind him one more time and a hungry Stephen Thomas.
Yeah. And again, Ted Wade amongst the front runners that are on track. That's the worst tires at the moment. Dittmer was running even speeds with Ted Wade before the previous caution came out. And we're ready to go back to green.
Yeah, so I think, Marty, the key here to this is all about the restart. We saw the two get a little jinky in the last restart. The truck stepped out on him, and he's got to have the restart of his life here. He's got to break out like he's done a couple times tonight and clear these other trucks if he wants to get a shot at the win. Otherwise, there's a lot of hungry drivers who are going to be looking at that back bumper.
First attempt at a green, white, checkered is, I believe we have added a lap. Should see one to go this time by.
So the way a green, white, checkered works, you get the green, you go around, and if you get to the white flag, the next flag ends it. So we'll see if they're able to pull that off as everybody's scrubbing their tires back and forth, getting the crumbs off, getting those tires heated up so they're not going to slip. And you're going to see the drivers nose to tail on the start as the pace truck just about to turn it over. Lap 167. We're in overtime here in Nashville. 17 cautions, 82 caution laps, but none of that matters right now. It's going to be a jump to the finish. Green flag is in the air. It's going to be up to Wade to kick it off. He gets a good straight launch. Dittmer is ahead in turn 1 and 2. Here comes Wade with the charge to the outside. They're side by side to the backstretch.
That was Dittmer's best 1 and 2 so far today. They're still side by side. Dittmer, can he pull off in turn 4? He's got the lead for now. White flag.
Next flag ends it as Wade sails it in. Dittmer goes high. Here comes Thomas to the bottom. They were 3 wide out of 2. Dittmer takes the lead to the backstretch.
Maker said who's going to win it?
Thomas runs it wide coming out of turn number 4. Lights are flashing. One truck backwards. It's Wade into the wall, but none of that's going to matter. From the 3rd position in the green-white checkered scenario, it is going to be Stephen Thomas pulling away the win. What a finish, and what a great way to get your first win of the season.
That was crazy. That was like Truck Series-esque of what went down at Circuit of the Americas. You know, Dittmer and Wade both just went wide in 1 and 2, and Dittmer really forced Wade up there. Just opened the door wide open for Stephen Thomas as that 23 as he does the burnouts. Moves Dittmer up a little bit, gives him as he forced him up, and that was all Stephen Thomas needed in what was just an incredible race at the end. that was a rough one, but that was a great one to watch. Thomas only leading 15 laps, but the most important one is all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and replay what happened there, the two drivers went high in turn number 2, battling for the lead. Thomas ducked underneath. When he got down into 3 and 4, he was able to scoot underneath and just push Dittmer up enough and then turn down and drive off to the victory. And it is going to be Stephen Thomas with the win. Tyler Dittmer a close second. Ted Wade second attempt at trying to get the win here, and unfortunately it's going to slip. He's going to come sideways across the line for finish in third. Brady LaBeouf hangs on for fourth. Adam Newbert to fifth. Jose Luis Rivera is your sixth place finisher tonight. Ed Osborne, solid top 10 for the 42 tonight. He comes home in seventh. Derek Kilgore, another good top 10. 11 is in eighth position. Trey Pitts in the 27. After all his troubles, comes away with the top 10. It is 11th for Adam Cantwell in the 63. Raul Maeza is in the 12th position. 17th of Brandon Bullock. 13th, Jacob Klinkhardt is 14th. Joey Doucette in the 16th. Soldiers on for 15th, 2 laps down. 4 laps down, Logan Quinn in the 44. Justin Limpkin got involved in that big incident. 7 laps down, 17th. 18th to the 81 of Taylor Peacock. Cody Knott finishes 19th in the 26th. 20th finish for Eric Zimmerman in the 94. Take us through the rest of these here, Marty.
Yeah, Devin Painter finishing in 21st, Matt Rudder 22nd, Curtis Hedden 23rd, Huck Wigginton 24th, Dana Shepard 25th, Dane Hagen in 26th, Robert Richards 27th, Brian Abbott 28th, Kyle Hassan 29th, TJ Moore rounds out the field in 30th.
Yeah, and have to come back and tell the story of, unfortunately, the one truck we saw sideways on that shot coming to the finish was Keith Bradley in the 29. We know he had the fresh tires, but unfortunately contact is going to relegate him to 10th here tonight. So as you see the long shot of the racetrack with Nashville to the back, all the fans start to shuffle out. We've had an outstanding race here at the Nashville Fairgrounds with Stephen Thomas coming away with the victory. We'll be back with the post race and your top 3 right after this. Welcome back to Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. The Triple M Pulling 100 race is in the books, and we're down here in Buttkecker Victory Lane. The top three drivers are over here just beating on each other's shoulders, recounting what happened in that final lap, and everybody's all smiles as we're going to get a moment. Let me pull Ted Wade out of this group. Ted, oh, so close. Charged all the way through with a little bit of worn tires. Is that what cost you this race?
No, definitely. We had a fast truck all night. Got into it with the lap car there at the beginning, gave me a little bit of damage. Tires weren't really that bad. I did a little bit of strategy there towards the end of stage 2 and pitted. I just ran it around easy for a couple laps to get the track position at the end, and with the way the yellows worked out, we really didn't have to run too hard.
Dad, I want to ask you about the final restart coming in. Did you expect Dittmer all over you on the inside? Did you expect him to send it like that much coming on in and get on your door, not make contact with you though, but just get up close to you?
Oh yeah, I expected it, man. It's the end of the race here. I was just hoping I could get a good restart there. I got a few good ones there on him, and I knew if he could get to the inside of me, he was going to stick with me. And the way them tires are, man, we had so many restarts. It was spinning on the last couple ones. It was a handful, but definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, Ted, we saw you finished sideways across the line, and I guess that's as exciting as it gets. But take us through this racetrack. When you look at Nashville from a historical standpoint, do you guys in the sim get a sense of how cool it is to run this track?
Oh, yeah, it's different than any other track we run on the schedule. A lot of momentum. You got to carry it. It's a blast.
Yeah, there you go. So, Ted, we enjoyed watching your race. We thought we were going to look at you over there in podium number 1, but P3 finished tonight, respectable run as we head out of Nashville. Who do you want to give thanks to?
Oh, big thanks to Over the Top Designs, John Hedrick over there painting up these good trucks we got. Up Front Motorsports, Keith Bradley, Chris Cinnamon, all of our teammates over there. We all work pretty close together, try to stay with this. Racer Apparel also, but yeah, man, good race. Congrats to everybody there. Congrats to Steven on that. He snuck that one right in there on us.
Yes, he did. There it is. Ted Wade, third place finish tonight. You go enjoy that celebration, and we'll turn and see if we can pull Tyler Dittmer over here. Tyler, second place finish. You were out in front of this thing with, that green-white checkered. Had a nose out front. What do you need to do to get the win here tonight?
Actually enjoy short track racing. Yeah, I could care less. In the words of Denny Hamlin, it's just short track racing. I just, it's not my style. It's not my thing, but not being able to run every race this year has kind of hurt me. Being able to, run some of the tracks that are similar. But it is what it is. Wade was fast. Steven was super fast. I really wish we didn't have that caution like 15 to go. I feel like we had a green flag run to the end. It was just going to be Wade and myself, and didn't really have any pressure from behind at that point. But, short track racing.
Tyler, I do want to ask as well, just before the final yellow came out, we were on that long run. Just what's the mindset like as, you were pretty much matching the times that Wade was setting tonight?
Yeah, I knew he pitted in the middle of stage 2, I think, and I knew he was a little bit older tires, but again, there's so many cautions that didn't mean shit in the long run. And I was just really frustrated, just kind of how the race was going. The lap cars were kind of messing with Ted, just keeping me close, but I thought he was getting a little bit looser in the corners than I was, but I was struggling to, be consistent. He was just consistent all night, so is what it is. And I wish it would have gone green. I feel like maybe I would have gotten to him, and we wouldn't have had, Steven still win from both of us, because I think we were the two better long run cars of the night. But Steven made the moves when it counted, and he got the win. And congrats to him. And that's how he's got to do it. He's a hell of a driver.
Yeah, Tyler, when you go back and replay that race, you think there's anything you would have done differently in that final stretch?
Not really. Guy's probably good. Probably wish I would have pushed Wade a little bit wider on 3 and 4 on that first lap of that green-white checkered, because if he wasn't still as on the outside of me up ahead going at a 1-2 on that white flag lap, I probably don't have to drive into the corner as hard on the inside without as much space to make that corner as good as I can. So, just little things, but move on from it. We got another one of these tracks, and we're still coming up, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so you won the NRE Power Systems 200 at Las Vegas back in early March, and that's a type of racetrack where you kind of float the car through the corners, and we head to Indy next week, so maybe a little more to your suiting. You would know from sitting where we are that you don't like short tracks, and you put in a good performance tonight, and
Thank you.
you know, we'll watch and see how you make out in Indy. You want to give a shout out to anybody?
Yeah, Mission 1 Esports, those guys have honestly been great to work with. Moved over there in the middle of the season after my team folded. So yeah, great team, great guys to work with. Appreciate the league and everything. You guys at LSRTV, Works Racing, family, friends that support me and let me do this on a Friday night instead of hanging out with them. Appreciate it. So yeah, thank you guys, and we'll hope for Indy. That's the only track I like remaining on the schedule. So we'll see how it goes.
There you go. It's a second place finish tonight for Tyler Dittmer, and we'll turn now to our winner. Let's see. Are you still excited, Steven? How about that race tonight?
Oh, I'm still super pumped, boys. Super pumped. Super pumped. It's probably a good thing I wasn't on there right after the win, because I would have took y'all's eardrums off. I think I woke everybody up in the house, boys. I'm just super pumped to have a win finally this season. That was eating at me. That's been eating at me. I needed a win.
Did that run slow motion for you, Steven, those last 2 laps?
Oh man, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how really. I wasn't expecting to get the win at all right there on that green-white checkered. I was so focused on Keith coming up my butt so hard that I was looking in the rear view whenever Dittmer came up into Wade, and next thing you know, I look up and there's a wide open hole. So I punched it and took it, and luckily I was able to hold him off, man. I'm super pumped. I came into this race really confident, but my goal was to get some laps led. I haven't really done that this season. I've just kind of been hanging out, trying to stay out of trouble. And early on in the race, I gave Ted, I haven't done enough practice. I don't do enough practice, especially when it comes to race situations each week, unfortunately. I need to start doing that. But I gave him the high line, like knowing I was faster up high, knowing he couldn't pass me down low for some reason. I gave him the high line really early, and I was never able to pass or get back in the lead since then. So I was kind of frustrated the whole race, but it turned out great.
Yeah, Steven, I just want to pretty much get your mindset as we entered that first green-white checkered, and then knowing you've got the lead off at turn number 2, but Dittmer right next to you, just what's the strategy like off a turn entering 3 and 4? You thinking about trying to force him up high up the banking or something so you could clear him?
That's definitely part of it, but I'm more focused on the guy, which in the race, I'm looking at it now, I didn't realize Ted had let off and cut so low like that. I thought that was Keith again, trying to go 3 wide in 3 and 4, but looking at it now I can see it was Ted. But I'm more focused on that guy going into 3, and then obviously, yes, coming out I want to run Dittmer up the track as much as I can to try to stop his momentum, and it played off great, man. Wade hit the apron and slowed him down a bunch, and then I was able to run Dittmer up the track and get it, man.
Yeah, I think, Steven, when you look back at that final corner, you're going to see it was a bit textbook as you went in, pushed the truck up, and then just turned down and drove off for your win. I don't know if you guys track this stuff. We're past halfway in the season, and if you take away the wins and just count raw points, you're in the lead. And this is going to help that situation. 434 points over Ted Wade's 422. Do you guys pay attention to that at all?
I do. I don't know about the rest of them, but I sure do. That's why I've been stressed out about getting that W. I had no playoff points, so I don't know if you realize this. I might be in the lead in points, but I was 13th going into the playoffs as of yesterday. So this playoff points and this win right here is huge for me, just to get myself comfortable going into the playoffs. Now I just got to be, thanks to you guys, Mr. Consistent, and the rest of the season, and just wait for the playoffs, man. That's how I feel. So it's a big weight off my shoulders. And while I'm at it, I want to thank Dittmer and Wade for the comments a little bit ago, guys. Man, there's a lot of good drivers in here, and it could be super fun if we get it cleaned up, man. There was a lot of stints in this race that it was fun, but unfortunately the cautions prevented it from being a lot. But yeah, I want to thank those guys for the comments a little bit ago, man. That was pretty cool, guys.
Yeah, you know, as a sim racer, every once in a while you watch these races and go, boy, you guys did look like you had a lot of fun tonight. When you came in to this victory lane, you were on high, and I guess that's the spoils of victory. Indy, Texas, Talladega, just, you know, those are crazy races we came out of, and, well, we got more coming.
That's
Indy,
why
Daytona, and Bristol.
Super pumped to have this win tonight going into those three. I'm just going to sit back and wait for the playoffs, boys.
There you go. Well, I think that's a good way to note it, is you got the biggest smile of anybody down here in the butt kicker victory lane, and we're going to let you go celebrate. How about a shout out to anybody? You want to say hello before we close things down?
Yeah, definitely. I want to thank Triple M Pulling, Over the Top Designs, Blanchard Towing, Butt Kicker, you know, all the sponsors involved in this, Brady and all the admins that are involved to keep the league running, and my sponsors, Powerhouse, Family Handyman, HHOP, who else do I got on there? Tudor's Biscuit World, and my teammates Logan and Adam and Devin, constantly in my ear today. I mean, they had some bad luck, but they definitely pushed me through. So thank you guys at the broadcast, and have a good night, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. Stephen Thomas, he got the job done here tonight at Nashville Fairgrounds, and I'll turn to Marty for any final thoughts you've had for tonight's event.
Yeah, just a crazy short track race tonight. Cautions, sprinting cautions, but it ended with a great finish. That's for sure. A great classic short track finish that I'm sure the fans loved.
So we wrap things up here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. It's an exciting racetrack and a great place to watch a sim race. And tonight it was Stephen Thomas coming away for the win. It is Indianapolis Speedway next week. We'll bring it to you live for Marty Sakala and for Charles Wooten down there in the booth, who made it through the storms, weathered the storms. Thankfully, we were able to bring you the whole show tonight. I'm Kevin England saying thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time on LSRTV.